girlies, it's Tammy. Welcome back to my channel. So in today's video we're just going to be doing a full face of makeup that I'm loving right now, so like my favorite go-to products at the moment. None of these are new, you've probably seen them on my channel already, but I just wanted to do a tutorial and show you guys what I've been loving. So let's start with what's on my face already. On my lips I always use the Fenty Beauty, what are these called, Slip Shine, in the shade Cookies and Cocoa. I always wear it on my lips, but it doesn't look like I'm wearing anything, it just looks like a lip balm. So that's what I use it as. I use it as a lip balm rather than like a lipstick, I suppose, because it gives me a tint but it also gives me moisture and like glossiness. So yeah, I always wear this. I also bought a backup of it because I know I'm gonna run out. And then on my brows I always use the Benefit Brow in the shade number 5. I don't know why, but my brows have been like a hot topic recently. They've been like this for a few months, so it's just weird to see like comments on Instagram and YouTube mentioning my brows. I guess it's either you love it or you hate it, and if you hate it, I suppose that's a you problem because they're on my face, and as long as I love it, that's all that matters. And it's funny because the comments about my brows either go one or two ways. It's like, oh my god, I love your brows, who did the microblading? Or the other one is, oh my god, I hate your brows. Either way, I love them, so it's whatever. Now we're gonna move on to primer. Too Faced Primed and Poreless. Guys, this mattifies my face but smooths out my pores. It fills in the pores without being heavy and thick. I've been loving this. I'm probably halfway through it now, so I like to put it in like my pore area and then spread it over my nose as well. It's like no matter what foundation I use that day, it's really smooth and also really nice and matte. I don't tend to focus it on the outside of my face because that skin is pretty normal. It's only like my center of my face that gets really oily. Now for foundation, I've fallen in love with this L'Oreal Infallible Freshware foundation. It's not too matte, but it's also not super dewy and oily. It's a really nice in-between skin-like satin finish, especially when it's paired with the Too Faced primer. I definitely feel like it's a foundation that can be manipulated. So if you use more like an oily or a dewy primer underneath it, it would lean more oily dewy. But if you used a mattifying primer like I do, it definitely leans more skin-like matte type of finish. So yeah, I really love this. And the coverage is amazing even if you use a little bit. So I tend to use like 2 pumps, well, 1 pump on each side, and this is the shade 330 Hazelnut, and it just blends out so easy. The coverage is, I would say it's a medium, but a high medium while still being lightweight, and it's definitely buildable, but I prefer to kind of build up my coverage with a concealer rather than foundation. Yeah, I've just really fallen in love with this foundation, so this is what I've been using a lot and gravitating to a lot recently. Every time I sit down to film, my neighbor does construction. Every time, I swear to you, he's been quiet all morning. It is now 12 o'clock in the afternoon and he's literally just started drilling. Like, why? We're gonna move on. So moving on to eyes. Lately I've actually been gravitating towards more neutral tones. Who am I? I have no idea. A neutral eye look with a colored graphic liner. That is a vibe. That is what I'm loving right now. So of course my current favorite is the neutrals in my Tropical Twilight palette. So this whole top row, absolutely gorgeous, and then of course the neutral shimmers in here, but I feel like I've used this quite a lot, so we're gonna give this a break today. I got this palette from XX Revolution. It's one of their 4-pan quads and it's in this shade Executive, I think it's called, and this has 2 shimmers and 2 mattes in here, but the mattes are really nice and dark chocolatey. These are definitely up my street. This in the crease, this on the outer V, beautiful. So yeah, I picked this up from Boots recently. I thought I would give it a try. They also had like a red tone one that I wanted to get, but it was out of stock, so anyways, got this one. And then I thought I would go in with a graphic liner, so I've pulled out the Shein Cosmetics Epic Liner in the shade Sunshine, which is the bright neon yellow. So I'm thinking we do a neutral look and then a graphic wing liner, which is totally what I'm into nowadays. Just gonna blend that in. Oh, by the way, this is the Abh Eye Primer. So I'm gonna start with this dark color on the outer V, or should I start with the crease color? I'm gonna start with the crease color, actually, this one up here. But yeah, I'm just appreciating neutral tones a bit more than I was last year. Last year it was just like neutral, boring, but this year it's like, you know what, I can appreciate a gorgeous dark chocolatey brown smoky eye and a maroon. I mean, maroon is still slightly colourful, but I can appreciate a maroon neutral eye look. This is a nice transition colour. I thought it might be a bit too light, but it's definitely doing the damn thing. Like, it's adding that nice shadow there. This would be a perfect everyday palette for chocolate girls. They do have a lighter version. I can't remember the name, but they do have a lighter version if you are like a lighter skin person that wants an everyday brown palette. And it's applying and blending out really well as well. So now I'm going to take my fluffy brush from my Amethyst collection, and I'm going to go into the dark chocolatey brown, put that on the outer V and also slightly into the crease as well. So just deepening and darkening. That does look black, doesn't it? It doesn't really look like the chocolatey brown that's in here. I feel like the shades are looking a little bit cool toned. I thought they would be a bit warmer, a bit more chocolatey. So I'm literally adding the smallest amount of Sundown, which is this kind of orangey warm tone shade, right in the crease to kind of warm it up a little bit. Do you see the difference? It has like a little bit of warmth compared to this side. Now for my lid, I'm going to go into this brown shimmer here, which seems to be like a putty formula, like it moves around when you press your brush into it. And I'm taking that on a flat synthetic brush. Just going to put that all over the lid. That is a beautiful bronzy brown. So just like with the shimmers in my palette, I feel like swiping it on is your best bet. Rather than tapping like that, it's better to just swipe it on. I love that. You could even leave it at this stage, but of course I'm going to add my graphic liner. Actually, first I'm going to take this light gold and put that on my inner corner. So this one is not a putty formula. Like that. By the way, these liner brushes I get from Amazon, I'll leave a link down below because I always get asked. They're detailed paint brushes, not eyeliner brushes, but you can use them for whatever, of course. Okay, that'll do. That'll do, donkey, that'll do. So my favorite concealer is still the Jouer Essential High Coverage Concealer in the shade Rich Ginger. The coverage on this concealer is just insane, but also the formula of it is really, really nice. It's not too dewy, but also not too matte. That nice in between. I feel like it will work for multiple skin types. Also gonna clean up by the liner, and I'm just gonna blend that out. Like, look at the coverage on this, and I feel like it's only 15 or 16 pound, which is still expensive, but it's not as expensive as other high-end concealers. Really nice finish. If you have dry or normal skin, you could totally leave it like that because it's not too, do you see what I mean? It's not too dewy or oily. Okay, so that is the concealer. Now for powder, Huda Beauty Easy Bake. I absolutely love this powder. I have the shade Banana Bread here, and I'm just taking that on my angled brush from my Crystal Clear set. Love how smoothing this powder is. Just tapping that underneath the eyes. You can also, of course, use a sponge to blend that into the skin, but I don't know, I've been loving using brushes for everything recently. Now I'm just gonna dust away any excess powder. And then for the rest of my face, I've been loving my Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush powder. This is the shade number 3 Deep, and I'm just gonna take some of that, press it onto the outside of my face. It just helps me prep for my bronzer so that my bronzer doesn't go patchy or grab to the wet parts of my foundation. It's a really lightweight powder that sets the face really nicely. Now for everything cheek, of course, I've been loving my palette with Revolution, the Paradise Glow palette. I use the bronzer, blush and highlight. Sometimes if I want extra snatched, I'll go in with a little bit of the contour, but mostly I just go for a bronzed look. So I take the bronzer and just dust that on the outside of my face. Then going into Tropical Queen for the blush. Just dabbing that on the tops of my cheekbones, so up here. And it's funny because when I first designed this palette, I actually used to mix the highlighter with the blush to get a shimmery blusher because I was into shimmery blushes when I designed this. So what I used to do is literally just dab, 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 and then go onto my cheeks. So this way you would get like a nice glow to your skin, but without being highlighted, if you know what I mean. But nowadays I actually love highlight, especially the one in my palette. So I'm just gonna go ahead and take Paradise Glow by itself and just highlight the top of my cheekbone. These are very soft, subtle highlights anyway. That's what I prefer, not ones that are texturizing and heavy on the skin. I like something that's more like a natural glow. And this formula is what got me back into highlights, because before I just didn't like the way they texturized my skin, but this is a beautiful glow from within. Okay, so now I'm gonna do my lower lash line with the same two browns in this palette, so these two. So those are the eyes more or less done, of course, minus lashes, but we're gonna go in with lashes, of course, from my brand. Don't know which style to choose. Just gonna try it on and see which one suits the wing liner. This one is Tony. That looks really nice because it's winged out on the edge. I've been using Summer a lot. Decisions. Anyways, I'm gonna go decide what lash I want to put on, and then I'll come back and let you know which one I went with. Okay guys, the lashes are on. I decided to go with Ava in the end, and I absolutely love these. Super wispy and fluttery, and you can still see the liner, which I love. So now we're gonna finish off with lips. So guys, my collection with Revolution has now launched at ASOS, and they also have my lip set. Now these are possibly the last stock for a few months, so if you do want to grab it, ASOS has the collection. We're still waiting for it to launch at Ulta, but as soon as I know any details, I will of course let you guys know. But so far I don't really know anything, and I don't feel like Ulta's gonna have my lip set because Superdrug didn't have it either. So it's a tricky one, guys. Obviously distribution, stock, all of that stuff is not up to me. That's all down to Revolution, so I'm just going playing it by ear, and whatever I hear I'm letting you guys know. So as for right now, ASOS is the only place that has this in stock, so definitely check it out. Gonna go in with my Glory lip liner first, and then I'm gonna go in with the shade Muse, which is the lighter of the two. And that actually goes beautifully with the eyes. So I'm going to finish off with setting spray. I got this a couple days ago and I've used it twice now. So far so good. Really love how it kind of settles in all the powder, but also gives me a really nice finish to my skin. I will of course keep testing it to give you a final review on it, but so far I'm really enjoying it. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray. But yeah, I can't really give a solid review on this just yet. Okay guys, so here we have the final look. What do you think? These have been my go-to favorite products that I've been loving right now. Of course, minus the eyeshadow palette. This was a first impressions, but so far really cute palette, and I love the eye look that I got. But in terms of eyeshadow, it was just the vibe that I go for, like neutral with a graphic liner rather than the products. But everything else are my current favorites that I'm loving on my face right now. And yeah, let me know what you think about this look. Give this video a thumbs up if you did enjoy it. Make sure you are subscribed, and I'll catch you guys in my next one. Take care. Bye.